February 19th, 2024. It's about time we give this bad boy a root prune. See what we got going on down there. All right, back just a minute. And there she is. Not a bad little root ball on that thing. We'll dig into her and see what she looks like. I do like the base of this though. I mean, it's not a lot of circling roots or anything like that. You can tell everything just kind of grew into the shape of the pot, but I really do like these for training pots, that's for sure. All right, we're back in just a minute. All right, got her pretty much cleaned out here. This real fibrous root system that was growing in here. Let's see if I can get the angles right here. I can definitely tell my last root pruning, I left one root sticking out right here, which is definitely causing me a problem right now to clean the rest of these roots out, because man, this is like a zillion roots almost. This thing was so dense with fine fibrous roots in here, man. It was pretty wicked cool. Really do dig these training pots. All right, I'm gonna get it trimmed up, definitely do some work down here on the bottom, probably work on my root plane a little bit, see if I can make that a little smooth and get back down to my root flare. And first thing I'm gonna do is get them washed up though, then I'll go ahead and trim it back. Back in just a minute here. And there we have her, all root pruned back up. Had to do some work on the bottom of it here a little bit. Some of these were getting a little bit fat and had to trim them down. I'm back down to the base of the tree itself, so reestablish my root plane. I think I'm doing fairly well there. Then I'm just gonna do a little bit of anything that's sticking up, gonna trim those off, maybe a little profile prune, get them all raked out, make sure we're looking good, and then get her all potted back up. All right, just a second here. And there we have her, all potted back up, ready for the 2024 growing season. Gonna give a quick trim here to some of these growing tips just because I did prune a lot off on those roots. But we'll get her back in the grow tent, and she's getting about 8.5 hours of daylight right now, so back when I got more to show you. It is October 14th, 2024. And we are back with my Ficus Benjamina. This thing has got some thickness to it from that little twig that it used to be to being a couple inches around, not a couple inches around, but at least a good inch across there, you know, maybe even more. She's definitely grown out fairly well. She's been moving between environments of my office window, which I no longer have that great of a view anymore, so I don't have that much window and that much sun. I brought her home this summer and I put her in my little grow house, or green tent, or poly house, and she didn't do too bad. I think she really enjoyed getting out there in the real sun. She didn't really drop the old leaves and getting new leaves for outside, but seems to be looking okay. But right now she definitely needs a prune, she definitely needs a trim, and I'm gonna get her back into check so that way for the winter while she's sitting in the grow tent, she'll look a whole lot better. All right, be back in just a few minutes. And she's all trimmed back. Not exactly everything that I wanted to cut off here, like this little branch here is still way too long, but it looks like it already tried to bud back at one time and those little branches died. So I don't know if it'll bud back there again or not. Same thing with this branch over here, you know, shoots way too high up here before I get some growth out this direction. It was growing out this direction, but still this section through here is just way too long and no taper. However, cool part is I got a little back bud sitting right there. I don't know if you can see it or not. Hopefully I can zoom the camera in enough to, in post-production, to see that. I started digging into this wound a little bit because it wasn't healing over. I'm not using glue or anything else for cutting or pasting the holes here on these trees. They seem to heal over on their own just fine, so I'm just gonna let it go. And they actually look better when they do it on their own than when I cut them, so. But I got her cut back down for the most part. I'm thinking this is more my front right along here-ish, and gonna get my canopy to start growing out from here and get it going in different directions. All right, now I'm gonna tear into those roots. Hold on a minute. Alright, got her dug up and the root plane raked out. I'm thinking that I actually did do some work on this tree relatively recently, because there's really not a whole lot of real thick roots down there, but do still have a little bit of work to do. Need to get that profile down just a little bit. But I do see a nice little root flare coming out here. It's a little bit higher on that side, so I don't know if I want to do it with planting or trimming some of those fatter roots out a little bit, but let's go ahead and get her trimmed up and get her ready to be repotted. And we got her pruned back to nice little flat root plane with nice radial roots for the most part. Some of the roots are kind of going a little wonky. Not too bad. There's a couple in here that I didn't necessarily like as much as I liked others, but for the most part, there it is right there. This one here kind of comes back this angle. I cut this side of it off, so now it's growing back that direction. Hopefully it'll thicken up a little bit more on that side and be nice and somewhat radial. It doesn't need to be perfect, right? Because they don't grow perfect in nature. All right, let's get her back into the pot. And there she is. Back in her cozy little home, ready to grow out all winter in the grow tent. Stays nice and humid, nice and warm. Still a lot of work to be done, but bonsai ain't instant, so it was a nice relaxing evening for me. All right, folks, back when I got more to show you. It is November of 2024. You can see Ficus Benjamina has responded beautifully. Lots of fresh growth. It is a little bit leggy, but I know she's definitely vibrant, so she's recovering nicely. Back when I got more to show you. Alright, it is late December 2024 and the big Ficus Benjamina has just been responding terrifically. She's growing like a monster inside the grow tent here, so we're gonna have to give her a quick haircut. I think I'm going to go ahead and take care of a few things that are bothering me anyways. So for example, this branch here, how it curves down and curves back up and keeps going so big, I don't like all that. So I'm gonna bring her back down a little bit. You can tell she's got crap ton of growth all over the place, so I'll bring that growth back inside. All right, give me just a minute here. All right, I was giving her the blue scissors of death type of treatment, if you know what I mean. Trying to cut it back just to 1 or 2 buds everywhere, but I noticed there was a dead chunk sitting off the back here. And when I took the cut off of it, that's the other side of that major wound right here too. So gonna do a little bit of carving on that to see if I can flatten that out a little bit, but I also got another major chop I think I want to take here. So out the back of this one, we got this branch kind of grows down and back up. Kind of digging that. Not much about this that I'm really digging though. On this side here, you know, it grows out flat and then shoots, oh, you can't see this. Grows out flat. On this side here, kind of grows out flat and then shoots straight up, and I really don't like all of that, so I'm gonna do a major chop here. I think first I'm just gonna start off with giving her a cut right back to this branch here. Cut that off quite an angle. And now she's got a major chop off point here and a major chop off point here. But it does give this one, oh man, maybe I went a little bit too close. That's okay. If I went too close, I'm just gonna get rid of all of this and just go back to this little branch back here and let that start taking off. We'll see how she does on the recovery. Like I said, I'm just gonna carve on this little piece right here a little bit to smooth it out. I'm gonna carve on this piece right here a little bit to smooth it out, and then I'll put her back in the grow tent. Oh, also giving her some fertilizer and lights are going up. Back when I got more to show you. Hello there. It is now mid-January 2025. Happy New Year. Back with my first tree that I started this channel with, my Ficus Benjamina, from a cutting. she's looking pretty good. All the upper growth here's got new growth coming out of it from everywhere I pruned it back, so she is definitely bouncing back rather nicely. Man, I'm just loving how thick that trunk is getting. That's awesome. The cut putty's still looking good up here on top. As far as I can tell, she's healing underneath there. I wouldn't have any idea of knowing because it's under the putty. But looking pretty good so far. I'm probably just going to come in here and cut back some of these longer branches that are growing out and then put her back into the grow tent. Alright folks, like it if you liked it, subscribe if you want to follow along. Any comments, questions, concerns, violent criticisms, please leave them in the comments section below. And I'll be back when I got more to show you.